the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book. And the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited.
Oh, yeah. You are invited. And there's a lot I want to say before the broadcast begin. Let's go. All right.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel.
Wake up, Israel.
In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell.
Hit that like button, come on.
With a great escape, we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still.
Got me shimmying, young man.
To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went.
Israel is waking
The
up.
12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Bali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. AHAYAH gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us to gather our wives and children, then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. AHAYAH gatherer in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. AHAYAH's gathering Israel. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians. AHAYAH's gathering Israel. Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be, we be. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Bali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. AHAYAH's gathering Israel.
That's right, brothers and sisters. AHAYAH is gathering Israel. I'm Elder Rick Shaw, along with the elders of the Gathering of Christ Church. In the background, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for your presence with our weekly broadcasts, our blogcasts here to keep you informed on what's going on prophetically, as well as what? Real time. That's right. Breaking down real time events. What's going on in the earth and how it's impacting our people. And I love to use this word. Helping the children of Israel navigate through Jacob's trouble. First and foremost, before we begin, how are you? How's the family out there? Boy, do we have so many things to unpack. But before I unpack that, before we talk about anything, that's right. You've seen the Hebrew and Bible Academy commercial. We're now taking enrollments for what? Week 1 starting October 31st. October 31st, the creation of the universe. Now, I knew I said that I would cover sirens or mermaids, right? But we got caught up in so many things happening in the earth that piece was taken out. And I wasn't able to go into that week 2 of last Hebrew and Bible Academy. But we're going to go into, that's right, the unseen. We're going to go into the real world outside of the city constructs they've created as an alternate reality outside of what? What's really going on in the earth concerning the controllers and the powers, including beings outside of human beings. What beings are in the earth outside of us, and are they in control? Well, when we go into week 2, tracing the serpent seed, you're going to find out the real leaders of this earth and realize the cities, just like the ancient Tower of Babel, was constructed to distract the people from real reality, from true reality. There are beings operating in this earth outside of what they would call human beings, who are the controllers over all politician and what? You got it. Political and metropolitan constructs. There's beings over it. We're going to go into mermaids. We're going to also go into the Nephilim. The Nephilim, who are the real controllers over the Pentagon, over your military constructs. That's right. Stop just thinking, don't stop relegating our minds to believing that there's some white people in a room somewhere conspiring against blacks. That's the level they'll like you to understand everything on. White people are under attack. Black people are under attack as the children of Israel. Moral people who believe in morality, and above all, those who believe in Christ. So we're going to be identifying the beings who control your governments. Week 2 of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're under an Egyptian. We're under an Egyptian Babylonian construct ran by the unseen. And guess what? Satan is real. Satan is real. The year they ushered out the Lucifer series. Okay, for those who could see, realize that it was exactly what the Bible was talking about concerning that man of sin shall be revealed. When they ushered that out, they was letting everyone know that Lucifer has now been introduced as the God of this earth and has been the God of this earth ever since Adam lost power. So yes, this Hebrew and Bible Academy will be the academy above all of them. I myself guarantee it. We going into mermaids. We going into the Gregorian. we're going into the spirits on different levels of the heavens that are relegated within this earth, who control politicians. So stop looking at Joe Biden or Trump and all this other stuff. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, like Ephesians 6 says, but principalities and powers, the workers, the wicked evildoers that work in what? In high places. And I'm going to tell you, folks, hence the reason this society began to segue into mental illness. This is why they started going in the last 10, 20 years, mental illness. Because eventually when you wake up from your reality, when you understand that we were born into a simulation created through these cities, they needed a scapegoat. They needed an area in which they can claim, well, no, that person's mental ill. That person's crazy. When people begin to wake up from their programming, they call you crazy. And that's why they segued into the mental illness propaganda they're pushing. So that when people wake up and start realizing, start really listening to people, when you really start listening to people and stop discrediting them or dismissing them, you'll realize these people aren't crazy. They're not crazy. They're tired. They're tired and realize there's nothing else to lose and is willing to step out there and tell the truth concerning the reality outside of what? This matrix construct. And I'm going to tell you all this. And I'm going to say this right out. The young man, young Pharaoh. I disagree with his ideology. I think the young man is misguided. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I think the brother has a level of intelligence that if someone was to get to him with what's really going on, he could be an asset, that's right, for the truth. He could be used by Christ to bring people again to the Most High. I believe that, but I think the brother's misguided. Right? Now, going into my academy, everyone is claiming or think that young Pharaoh is crazy. When he came out and said, listen, I was abducted by aliens. I was abducted by aliens. Do you believe me? Now, I'm not saying that I believe young Pharaoh. But you know what? I'm not going to say I don't believe him. See, and this is why they set up a system of what? That's right. Plausible deniability to push someone away when they're actually being what? Experimented on by the unseen. Before the flood, folks, that was happening. Where the fallen angels and their children were taking God's creation and doing experiments on them. And this is why a lot of people walk away from the church, walk away from spiritual guidance, because when stuff like that happens to people and they go to their religious leaders, there is no answer. They're immediately said that you need to be checked into a nut house. You must be crazy. Is no one there to say, you know what, young Pharaoh? That's deep that you're talking about abductions. It's deep you're talking about that. Because they was abducting our people before the flood and experimenting on them. And coming out with science, using our blood to do what? Genetically target the righteous. See, I can speak to young Pharaoh on that level. I can tell young Pharaoh, listen, you're not crazy, young man. Let's talk. Because why? Most people would dismiss you. The brother said, listen, he was abducted by aliens and no one believed him. And guess what? They set up a construct where as soon as someone says something like that, they'll be dismissed, not realizing Christ himself was taken up into a cloud. Acts 1:9, and was brought before the heavenly angels. Now that's the righteous. That's the righteous being picked up. But folks, there's history all in America of Americans being experimented on, first starting with black people here in America. And that's why we're going into the manipulation of blacks in America. People have to start listening. We are under attack by the unseen, and the people they have in place are the puppets. They are the gatekeepers that gives them access to us, to our children. To our children. We've been born into an industrialized ritual of Moloch sacrifice. And this is why let me tell you, I understand young Pharaoh was crying out for help because no one understands him. See, I understand that. I know that brother be banging on the Bible. He's against the Bible, but I know his spirit is crying out for answers. So what people do when they can't get spiritual answers according to the Most High and totally reject the Bible, in turn, they turn away from the Bible and they turn to drugs and to get a gateway in order to receive understanding by some being somewhere to why things are the way they are. And see, and this is why even Paul said, you must be able to condescend to the lowest level. Let me tell you, there's a lot I don't agree with that brother at all, especially his stance on the Bible. But it's a shame because the Bible is the only book that can give him resolve to what he's been dealing with. I can go into the Bible and show him abductions. I can show him the righteous, what being taken up like Elijah and Enoch. And guess what? Satan does the same thing on a lower level. He abduct children. He abduct them and experiment on them. If you don't believe me, look up the Montauk Project. So that and more we'll be going into. We'll be going in. NASA isn't just a scientific or science apparatus. NASA is what? It's a religious temple to heaven. Week 2 of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. That's all I have to say. We're going into mermaids. We're going into the Bermuda Triangle. We're going into the gates that's in this earth that will be open in due time. That's right. Week 2, you don't want to miss it. Also, listen to this, folks. Listen to this. Week 9 of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. That's right. We got the records. Finding the Ark of the Covenant. Finding the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant isn't in Ethiopia. That's a lie. No man has had access to the Ark of the Covenant, and through the records of the Bible, we can tell you exactly where it is, but no man can touch it until our children are with us in the wilderness. Finding the Ark of the Covenant. Hey, folks, we know where it is. Okay? It's been before us the whole time. It's not in Ethiopia. It wasn't taken into Europe. These are all lies. Ark of the Covenant, the greatest weapon between heaven and earth, is a lesson we'll be going into. And we're going to tie the Ark of the Covenant to the power of ancient Egypt. When we left Egypt, we took the power with us. Week 9 of our Hebrew and Bible Academy. And you know why we're going into all this, folks? Because once they continually deconstruct and totally take apart America and take apart all of these metropolitans in the earth and move everyone below a third world status, our people will be back out in the wilderness again, leading us to our week 10 lesson. Week 10, and you know we got to go Ark of the Covenant, then go into the wilderness. The tribulation of Israelites in the wilderness. Week 10. I'm going to deal with this academy, folks, like it's the last one we'll do. Like the last one we'll do. The tribulation in the wilderness. How is it that a people guided from Pharaoh into the wilderness, why didn't these people work together and love each other and care for one another at a time where now there was no government to blame? Now there's no government to blame. Why are we still going against each other out in the wilderness by ourselves? It's going to happen again. That will happen again, folks. That will happen again. Israel's tribulation in the wilderness, folks. Folks, you don't have to worry about being kicked out. They're going to dismantle society where there's nothing left but us, but for us to go. Why? Because behind closed doors, our God is kicking their behind. That's why. They refuse to give the children of Israel respite and peace. And the more we cry up to the Almighty to ask him to deliver us, the more they tell us to build brick without straw. We asked for reparations last year and they doubled down with a disease. And you know what? Our God is kicking their behind. Behind closed doors, folks, they're losing everything. They're losing family. They're losing children. They're losing status. And they are now panicking. They won't tell you this, but they know it's our God, the angels of the Almighty, fighting for our turn. They know that every time something happens in their family, it's because of their works against us in darkness. So eventually, brothers and sisters, the powers that be is going to thrust us out just like Pharaoh, and we'll be in the wilderness again. And if we don't learn how to respect, love each other, how we are with one another now is how we'll be in the wilderness, and the rebels will be there. And I'm seeing it with my own eyes. I'm already checking out the same spirits that were operating back then now. That despise dominion, that despise obedience, and they're always making an excuse to what? To be against something. Oh yeah, baby. Hey folks, this will be the Academy of Academies. Hold up now. Hold up. Hey. Hold up, folks. In a minute, I'm about to segue to GOCC Media. Y'all see that link in y'all chat? I need y'all to click on that link in your chat because that's where we'll be doing our blogs from. GOCC Media. See that link? I'm going to put it up there again. And I'm going to tell you, folks, the Most High didn't give you the spirit of fear. Understand, every time they double down and try to force you to do something, it's because they realize our God is jacking them. And because there's no fight against the God of gods, they take it out on our people. All we have to do is be patient. Be patient. They're going to do everything to have us volunteer to our own demise to fall on the sword. Don't volunteer for nothing. Okay? They're going to use their magic and psychology to force you into decisions you and your family will regret. Hey, what a broadcast we got right now. What a broadcast we have today. Let me bring in Elder Lawyer. Let's go.
All right. Shalom, family.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, historytimes.org, Elder Lawyer. Listen, I'm ready to go now with that Ark of the Covenant lesson. I'm going to tell you, hey, wait till you see. I've been praying on it, Lawyer. I mean, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, Lawyer. Our people are going to be in the wilderness. And I firmly believe one of our children, one of the little ones going to be playing. And they're going to move a brush away and say, what's that over there? You notice that coming out of Egypt, Elder Lawyer, that the whole generation died off. And only the children were able to go over to Jordan and go into the land. Only Joshua and Caleb, the original two who lived in Egypt, were able to live or die in the promised land. So I firmly believe, because Christ says, suffer the children to come unto me. Unless you be like one of these little children, you shall in no wise enter the kingdom of heaven. And it's something about the purity and innocence of children, where there can be a spat, a fight, whatever the case may be, and they'll be back playing like nothing happened. They don't hold grudges. I believe in my heart that when we're in that wilderness, it's going to be one of the children out there playing, going to be walking and going to fall in a brush or something and say, Daddy, Mommy, I hit my head on something, or look at what we see over there. And it's going to be this gold thing shining. And we go look like, what's that? You'll probably have a white beard, whatever the case is. And we'll look over there, Elder Lawyer, and then we'll look at and we'll see two wings of angels on the Ark of the Covenant. A child have found the most powerful weapon known to man, with clean energy that's ran from heaven. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, I can't wait. The Ark of the Covenant, man, the greatest weapon ever made. Finding the Ark of the Covenant week 9. And hey, you got it. The tribulation in the wilderness will be week 10. Elder Lawyer, this academy was off the chains, but anything you have to say before we segue in now?
Absolutely. Please join. As you mentioned, we have new lessons, and even with the older lessons, sometimes we bring forth newer information to build upon the things that we've already discussed, to further verify and clarify the information that we've been teaching. So definitely, you've been in the past academies, you want to join this one. And even if you're coming in for the first time, you definitely want to be a part of this upcoming academy.
Hey, man. Hey, Elder Lawyer. Hey, historytimes.org. Now, I think I better take off this sweater here, young man. It's about to get heated up in here. The manipulation of blacks in America is our lesson. Aren't we tired of getting manipulated? Elder Lawyer, before I start talking about this jungle, because that's exactly what it is, what other race of people are represented by their subculture?
It's a good question. And I'm still trying to find that answer.
You know, I can give it to you. A big fat zero. No other race of people are what? Represented by the subculture, which means what? The immoral within their culture. The shameful, those, what should be a shame is actually highlighted as the leadership of our community. Now, with no help of our own, but hey, I'm going to tell you this, that's on purpose. That's
right.
On purpose. Right? So, I mean, think about this. You use the most degraded piece of our society to put in place for Black Lives Matter. Immoral perverts.
Right.
And try to claim it's to do what? It's to stand up for black men. Nah, if you want to stand up for black men, including George Floyd, you sit down. You are immoral. Okay? So that's that Jedi mind trick. Let's kill the black man while claiming we stand for him. The manipulations of the manipulation of blacks in America, folks, we've been manipulated. I don't want a lesbian representing me.
Right.
I don't want a homosexual representing me. Okay? Straight out. I don't want a thief. I don't want a liar. Now, let's make it clear. All of those I've just mentioned can represent me if they repent and begin to speak out against the immoral behavior that once soiled and darkened their soul. See, I'm not saying I'm any better than any of them. What I'm saying is we can't have unrepentant perverts and all that who are immoral as the face politically and religiously for our people. We are manipulated. Before we allow them to put someone up representing us, we must know what they stand for. Don Lemon doesn't represent black men. He's there for many reasons. Okay? Many reasons. And one of the reasons is obvious when you see who he's with. He's there to satisfy his own insatiable, unrepentant lifestyle. The women of Black Lives Matter, trans women, whoever you are, trans man, woman, I don't care. If it's not the Bible, you don't represent us. We're going into the manipulation of blacks in America. Now, in order for us to understand this manipulation, Elder Lawyer, let's understand first that this world is a jungle. Elder Lawyer, did you hear AHAYAH and Malak's new song?
No, sir.
Man, oh man. Put this thing on mute and I need you to listen to this through your computer. It's called A Jungle. Oh, y'all want to call us animals and all that? Guess what? Okay, you can call us an animal. We're the Lion of Judah. Check out this song called A Jungle. The manipulation of blacks in America. Brothers and sisters, listen to this.
Get wild, it's drug, most high, keep shake, alive, oh wow, that jungle, get wild, it's drug, most high, keep shake, alive, that jungle is crazy, that jungle is crazy,
It's crazy.
that jungle is crazy, that jungle in that jungle, that jungle is crazy, that jungle. It's crazy, no stress, I'm crazy, that jungle, It's true before your eyes. A myth ain't no surprise. How they got you watching movies, you believe that it's a lie. A fallen angel dropping people, wish up on a star. Misconceive that it's a demon, lacking knowledge, got them sleeping. The signs of zodiac is an illusion to their ruin. Strong delusion, got them moving in the path of straight confusion. What if everything you was taught up in school was all wrong? What if them things you think is a myth is really true, but all along they put it in your face and got you thinking it's a fiction, when it's real serpent people controlling the whole system. Listen, they dealing with inventions that's wicked. The Resident Evil army coming soon, no superstition. These phony doctors, warlocks prescribe you with prescriptions. They shoot spirits up in it and you wonder why you tripping. They hunger, thirst to evil, afflicting, attacking, work destruction, bringing forth oppression, a world of lies and deception. Oh man, yeah. Oh wow, that junk, get wild. It's trouble, most high, keep shake, alive. Oh wow, that junk, get wild. It's trouble, most high, keep shake, alive. That jungle is crazy.
It's crazy.
That jungle is crazy. That jungle is crazy. That jungle in that jungle. That jungle is crazy. That jungle is crazy.
No stress, I'm crazy. That jungle.
I'm a Judah gorilla, who wanna feel it? Catch me swinging from vines, might be chewing vanilla. Yeah, Madagascar, so now you wanna test it. I'm pursuing the scriptures, tell me who wanna test us. Not a foolish professor, keep a tool on the dresser. Beautiful like Sarah, keep just like a mule in a heifer. Since we moving like leopards, they refusing to step up. We the Jews by blood, they just oozing some ketchup. In the room playing dress up, but you're not that fly. Revelations 2:9, you are not that guy. Son of perdition on a plundering mission to take souls, take gold, straight roll, bring back everything you sold. It's a jungle, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Took the slaves of the ways to this place in a maze in a cage. Where we escaped, could you shine your left for shame? Yeah, know what I'm talking about?
Oh wow, that junk, get wild. It's trouble, most high, keep shake, alive.
Trouble come my way. I'm blessed, I'm straight, no stress, I'm crazy. That jungle.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
That jungle is crazy. That jungle is crazy. That jungle in that jungle. That jungle is crazy. That jungle is crazy.
No stress, I'm crazy. That jungle.
I'm a Judah gorilla.
Oh, you want to call us Adam? Oh, you want to call us something else, huh? He said, I'm swinging from vines. Hey, Elder Lawyer. He said, Revelation 3:9, we're Jews by blood. What he said? He said, they oozing ketchup. He says, we're the blood and they're oozing ketchup. Elder REI and Deacon Malak. Man, when I heard that, I'm like, you know what? And even though the beat just have you going, but it's good to hear brothers putting some witty words together that's waking up the youth. Give it up, Elder REI. That's right. Brothers and sisters, we are on our way. Just don't get distracted. Don't allow them to put something in you you'll regret. Be patient, wait on the Most High, and He'll deliver in due time. Nothing. I told y'all not to sweat. Elder Lawyer, did you hear out in Texas that the governor of Texas had a mandate now where they're saying that they're refusing all of the mandates that was put down that was actually illegal to do that over people who have constitutional rights? You heard that mandate where they're actually passing a bill to say, nah, employers don't have to force their employees into that. You heard of that? Heard that?
I didn't hear it, but
yeah. Oh yeah. So hey, things are looking up. But I told brothers and sisters to be patient.
That's right.
Because they only going to push it on you as long as they can see people are still buying it. But once they see people begin to push back, then they'll go to the next phase of whatever trickery they're going to put on you. But I told people to be patient and just wait. But hey, it's your life. It's your body, your choice. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the lesson, Elder Lawyer. Elder Lawyer.
Let's do it.
The manipulation of blacks in America. Now, let's first start with here, folks. Psalms 83, Elder Lawyer. Let's get it. Because a lot of you are believing, and this is the deception, folks. The deception is to make you believe that you're being attacked by the white man and the white man only.
Mm-hmm.
See? That's the manipulation. Right? You believe that because white people are in control, Rome, that this attack is a singular attack. Folks, no. When we see Amalek for who he is as a synagogue of Satan, they know exactly how to hire blackface. See? To work in their stead. They'll just defer to someone who looks like you. That's right. But he's nothing more than a what? You got it. A sock puppet. Even on these sports programs, you'll see the white guy, the white Jew or the white guy defer. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. Stephen A., what do you think about this? Because for the first time in American history, I'm going to defer to a black man who knows more than me. Well, I say trade him. That's what I say. I say if you don't want to do what Massa say do, we should trade him. When really you think it's the sock puppet. The sock, and then the white guy's cowering down and saying, "Oh, you're being a little, you're using too much black aggression, aren't you?" But really, folks, it's the same guy. Mm-hmm. That's the same guy. He's coming in on cue to say that he's the big black Negro who knows what's best for us all. Right? But really, on cue, he's paid to do the do. Now, we're going to show you what the do is in a moment. But the biggest error or mistake we make is thinking that the deception is going to come directly out of a white man's mouth. That he's going to admit or he's going to slip. He's going to say something to have us point to him and say, well, okay, I told you so. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Usually the white man is the mild-mannered guy. He's the most reasonable in the room. Okay. He's the less threatening. See, but I know better. I'm talking about the corporate white man. I'm not talking about the everyday white guy out there with a cup or a crystal meth type cat. They're trying to do it. They're trying to sambo for black people. They're out there shuffling and dancing, trying to get change. I'm not talking about that white guy. I'm talking about the corporate minds who control the earth, who are being controlled by the unseen fallen angels and Nephilim. If you don't know what that is, week 2 of the Hebrew Bible Academy, okay? So the biggest mistake, Elder Lawyer, is people out there thinking that it's just the white man as the problem. The corporate white man, let's make it clear, because I don't believe that all white people have a problem with black people. That's, I'm going to tell you right now, folks, that's just outright juvenile. That's an immature mentality to believe that all white people have a problem with black people. And it's outright, and I hate to use the word stupid. I can take you down to Kensington in Philadelphia right now and show you blocks and blocks upon white people. White people who are more destitute and need help, more help than blacks. And guess what? If they're willing to repent for their sins, we're here for them too. And this is why Israelites and other Israelites don't like us. Okay? Because why? Because we have a level of humanity like Christ to see beyond chest color. Elder Lawyer, Psalms 83, let's go.
Yes, sir. Psalms 83, verse 1.
Yeah.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Come on.
They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Let us cut them off from being a nation.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. It didn't just say one race of people. It said they. So the nations, the Gentiles, the heathens are in collusion here. And their plan is to make sure that these people are never unified as the children of Israel like they were before the dispersion, before the diaspora. See? So what is their plan, Elder Lawyer? Say it again. What is the devil's plan? Using these satanic tethers? What?
They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. So that's how you know the Israel today is not the Israel the Bible is talking about. See? It's talking about a people who would what? Who would lose their identity, that they would conspire to keep that truth from the real people. See? Now, so how could they do this? Politically. See? Instead of going into the fact that we're suffering because of us being the children of Israel, they'll say you're suffering because you're black. Oh, no, you're suffering because you're being gay, you're being bullied as a gay person. You're suffering because no one understands that you're a woman trapped in a man's body. You get all the support in the world if you're under that. Oh, you're suffering because you are a black woman. You're suffering because you are a minority. So when would the conversation be had where they're suffering because they're the children of Israel? You'll never hear that, folks. Why? They have taken crafty counsel and they've all colluded together, all races of people, and said, what? You got it. Let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. Once we understand we're Israel, we start doing what? Getting on code with each other according to a moral code, a moral standard that was given to us by our God. See? So if we're not still killing, destroying each other, what happened to the industrial prison complex? It's over. See? And once Meek Mill started talking about it behind closed doors, and guess what? Meek is from Philly, folks. You know he done ran into Israelites. Kendrick Lamar started talking about being Israelites. Nick Cannon got slapped on the wrist and got put back in place because he was letting the cat out of the bag. Him and Professor Griff. Deshaun Jackson. And leading up to the election, Ice Cube, before he came out and made a plan for Black America and say he have a plan for Black America and that he's willing to talk to either side. That's right. On his Instagram, he was showing the Egyptians black enslaving Black Israelites and said, this is what an Israelite looks like. That was 2019, folks. And all of a sudden, all of our people began, I'm going to tell you, the gang members and others started to say, you know what? It's time for us to stop killing each other. It's time for us to talk about this. If we Israelites, there's a judgment after this if we continue on this path. See? And no sooner as we started talking about this Israel, because Israel means a code. That's all it means. And if you don't think that code mean anything, Check out what the Jews are using all over the earth, regardless of whether or not they met each other. If you don't think being an Israelite has a code, check out the Jewish people who are Jews by conversion. Nonetheless, they are Jews. So they understand the power of being unified in one thought politically. And I don't care if they atheistic Jews. I don't care if they're believing Jews, Orthodox Jews. They all are on the same code. Every Sabbath, they know exactly where to go, whether they believe or not. And they network amongst themselves first. Why? Because there's a law in the Bible to say do just that. So they had to take that key component off the table and leave us in the wilderness out to fare for ourselves, trying to figure this all out. When really the beginning of it all is what? Read it again, Elder Lawyer.
Verse 4, they have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That's the first thing they did. They don't care about anyone else, anything else, first and foremost. If you're an Israelite, you won't eat pork. You're not going to let anything go into your body. You're going to fear God against anything in this earth, even if it means your life, like Christ. And if they cannot threaten your life, how much power can they really have over you? That's why they don't want you to know you're an Israelite. As soon as all the stars started conversing about Israelites and all that, the devil and his cohorts came together and say, let's stop everything. We need to move a campaign that will target them all over the earth, even if we have to shut down the whole earth and stop everything. Why? No slaves, no empire. Let's slow this all up and let's move the attention somewhere else. Because for the first time in modern history, black people are talking to each other and conversating. And they're not just talking amongst each other. They're talking to those North American Indians. They're talking to their brothers, the Boricua Taino Indians in Puerto Rico. They're talking to their brothers in Haiti. They're talking to their brothers in Dominican. They're talking to their brothers in Africa, in the Middle East. They are gathering the 12 tribes of Israel. If they come back together, our empire is finished. So we must manipulate them. We must find their subculture and have the subculture within their race represent them. Everything against God in the Bible will promote. Find a homosexual boy to lap dance on Satan's lap. Make sure he's black. Make sure he's black. Have the daughters of Zion talk about WAP, W-A-P, and get in the bag and incentivize them for harlotry. We need to level this off. There's too much good talk that's going on amongst the righteous. We must incentivize the subculture and give them everything, because if these people come together and begin to talk amongst each other, our empire is done according to their prophecy. Huh? So let's get the names of these people who have conspired together, because our people out there just thinking it's the white man. And I'm going to tell you right now, the conscious community is over. They've always been unconscious. There have never been a movement in America led by the conscious community. But yet they'll bang on the Bible and go against the Bible. And every great leader swore by it. Every great leader stood on that Bible that they try to uphold as black revolutionists. Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali. Okay. On and on and on. That's right. Even those that was dealing with Islam. The Nation of Islam. They had the Quran, but they had the Bible too. Martin Luther King. The Nat Turner. Gabriel Prosser since slavery. And I broke down that in the Cambridge papers where they charted our people being Israel since we came off the ships in Cambridge University. I broke that down in our last academy. See? Every great man, Marcus Garvey, you name it, stood on the Bible. It was the Bible that gave them strength. And these simpletons are running around trying to go against the only book that have ever galvanized our people. And of course, I have to give you the honorable mention, the greatest black man that have ever walked the earth. The same man whom this world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, Yeshua is his name. He was the greatest black man who stood on the word of God. So folks, the conscious community is done. It never even started. It was there for a specific time during a time of apostasy when God's people would reject him and just run into the world to serve themselves. That's the only reason why the conscious community, the unconscious community, got any steam. But they're over. And if they don't repent and come back to the Bible, they might as well take the juice. Let's read them off, Elder Lawyer, before we segue to truth. Hold up. I'm going to show you where we're segueing. Get ready, y'all. GOCC Media, tonight, it premieres on GOCC Media, The Manipulation of Blacks in America. Let's name the enemies of God, the enemies of God's people, according to the Bible. Go ahead, other lawyers, break it down.
Yes, sir. Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee.
They are a confederate against us. The UN and all of these other confederates are shaping laws based on what? Based on where we are, our people are in prophecy. Soon as we gain weight and realize what they do, they get together and conspire another trick. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, everything was fine. And then in one lab on one corner in Wuhan, China, something comes over to America that now is threatening the livelihood of black basketball players. See, and that's the problem people have, thinking it's just white people. Once you see them operating in the music business and in the movies and smearing us on their media, and we start talking about them, they'll say, well, listen, it ain't us. Look at the China. Look at the China man. And then we'll look at them and say, yo, what's up with this? What's up with this bug, man? And he says, don't look at me. Look at the Arabs. Look at the Ishmaelites. Hey, don't look at me. Look at the Jewish man. Don't look at me. See how it works? Once you figure out what one is doing, they'll just pass the ball to the other. But at the end of the day, it's black men in particular and our black women between the crosshairs. Why? Because Judah, the Lion of Judah, when he roars, the 12 tribes stand up. It's the mouth of that black man in America who speaks with much authority like another black man we know. It's those Judites. It's those Judites. When they are unified, they galvanize the earth and shake the bones within the graves. And the children of Israel stand up like a great and exceeding army. And this is why they're targeting basketball players, football players. This is why they target R. Kelly. It wasn't because of no girls. They got little girls. The elite got little girls they're raping right now. Trying to destroy the image of the black man. But as long as we're represented by the greatest black man, Christ, you devils don't have a chance. Let's finish reading. Come on, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites.
That's the white man and the Arab man. They are the two. They are the legs of the beast. Saudi Arabia and Rome are the legs to this beast. And these are the two most destructive religions on the earth. I believe in the Christianity Christ was teaching. But what we're learning now is a bastardized Christianity that had nothing to do with him in the Western world. It's a bastardized Christianity. So you have Esau running what? The pagan Christian church, which has nothing to do with the Bible. And you have the Arabs running what? Islam, ancient Babylon at the core. Persian mythology is what it was before Muhammad was born. They are the two brothers who envy the spirit of the Israelites. Because why? They were born in the earth first, but the Most High gave the promise to us. So now the Most High is giving you the two that's behind the conspiracy. Saudi Arabia as well as Rome. America is an extension of Rome. Folks, I got a call the other day. In that call, and sisters, that's why, sisters, we need to talk about this. We need to discuss this abuse thing and stop using that word abuse loosely anymore. Well, if I'm not physically abused, I'm emotionally abused. They put that in your mind to go against your man. And I'm not one to excuse abuses, but they don't care about you being abused. They don't care about that. How do we know this? A woman's shelter in West Philadelphia for the abused and homeless. Yes, and this was predominantly for black women in West Philadelphia, and the local news and CNN don't have nothing to say about this. They are emptying a black shelter for abuse in Philadelphia. Why? Because they need room for who? Afghani refugees are being put in these shelters and abuse homes, and they're kicking the sisters who are abused and homeless out into the street right now. So that was Ishmael and Esau conspiring against you with that horse and pony straight clown show talking about Afghanis falling off of airplanes and all that crap. No, that was them moving the Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and all those mercenaries into our communities to cause civil unrest and blame it on blacks. See, folks, let me tell you, the work don't stop when the cameras stop here. They set these Afghans all in our ghettos in Houston, Philadelphia, and different areas to do exactly what they did in those countries they toppled through civil war. These are mercenaries. We are being manipulated. Come on, let's go. Let's name them.
Yes, sir. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek.
And who?
And Amalek.
Amalek are the Talmudists today. Let me put it that way. The same people who were such cowards, instead of facing the men, when the children of Israel came out of Egypt, they went to the back of the caravan to begin to kill the elderly, women, and children. That's how cowardly Amalek was. And that's why the Most High says, remember Amalek. And you notice when that campaign of that thing came out in 2020, that they targeted the elderly, and now they're targeting who? The children. Same thing. They don't want to deal with a frontal confrontation. No, they would rather convince us through psychology to do what? To take the slow suicide. an Amalekian psychological, biological campaign against who? Believers. Let's go. Come on.
It says, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot.
When it says they are hoping the children of Lot, that's talking about who? The Jordanians and the Palestinians. And this is why I'm not going to stand behind no Palestinian war and say the Jewish people shouldn't do what they do against them. That's what you do when you get in bed with snakes. It was you who stood by while the Romans came against our people and you shut the gates on our people. It was you Palestinians and you Jordanians who stopped the way for our people to escape according to the Bible. And now the people you lay down with, guess what? They never intended on you staying in that land. Because Esau is trying to get the promised land that he feel he lost unjustly by us. But no, Esau, you sold your birthright. And what you're trying to get through war is going to come to us without hand. We're not going to have to lift one finger because what? It's a promise by our God. Come on, let's go.
Verse 12, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
Let us take to ourselves the houses of God in what?
In possession.
In possession. So their whole plan, folks, in America and all over the world, it was never meant for us to be equal. They never seen us as anything outside of property, folks. We talking about some equal rights, and don't you understand prophecy? Let's conspire together, the Chinese, the Arabs, the white man, and everyone else. Let us take to ourselves the children of Israel into possession. They have never seen us anything less than property. So when they get finished using us in a community, they'll go out into the suburbs and keep the property. And then they'll do what? They'll rent it out and sell it to Chinese people and other people and let everyone get a turn. Let everyone get a turn. And none of us sit back and look at it and say, listen, my grandmother grew up on this block. Why is it 3-4 generations and not one of our family members owned the corner store? We got 3 and 4 generations that live in North Philly and different areas and go to the same corner store where they keep swapping out users of our people. And none of us sat back and say, you know what? There wouldn't be no store if it wasn't for this block. Why no one on this block owned the store? I'm reading it. This is why. We have been manipulated. Okay? If it's not our store, guess what? Kick rocks. That's the stance we should be taking. If it's our community, why isn't it our store? Does it make any sense? I can't go set up a soul food in Chinatown. But no, they can make special laws for them. And when I speak like this, they'll be like, hold up, is that Asian hate? Here it is, we built the country and there's no law that's been drafted in the country that was built off of hatred of black people. And there's no hate bill for black people. You know why? Because they never seen us as anything outside of a possession. Property. Property don't get reparations. Property don't get property. And as soon as we stop fighting against each other and stand like we should stand together politically and otherwise, they're going to keep using us. We're going to keep manipulating us. So what we have to do is go into this Bible, get into the moral standards of this Bible and call everything out on the outside of the moral code a shame. Because they're going to use our people first. Nas X is a shame. Get the Hades out of here. That's right. Twerk all the way down into hell and stay. We have to start calling it out as shame. Come on, let's go.
Who said, "Let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession."
Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Now, in the academy, I'm going to be going into breaking down all the races of people to give you their what? Their phenotype. So when it comes to all the tribes that we see between Noah, Shem, and Japheth, you will learn that in the academy. When we go into Abraham's seed, we're going to be breaking down all the races of the earth so we can identify those who've been used against us. Speaking, elder lawyer, of the Arabs, because a lot of people think it's just the white people. Look at your screen and then we're going to GOCC Media. Look at your screen, brothers and sisters.
Christian boys kidnapped from the villages are confined to an Islamic school where they are made to study the Arabic language and memorize the entire Quran. Rising for prayers before dawn and studying until the late hours of the night, they are indoctrinated into the strict teachings of the Islamic faith. Christian boys
in Africa. What are the Arabs doing to Christian boys in Africa?
Kidnapped from the villages are confined to an Islamic school where they are made
confined to an Islamic school
to study the Arabic language and memorize the entire Quran. Rising for prayers before dawn and
so here it is. I thought Islam was a way of life. You mean to tell me there's still slavery going on where they're kidnapping black children who would normally believe in the Bible and forcing these Christian children, these children to believe in Christ, to convert under slavery? Hold up, let's go. Let's do it again. Hold up. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Look at this, folks. Yeah, I bet it is. I'll get it back. Don't worry about it. I'll get it back. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to get it back right now.
Christian boys kidnapped from the villages are confined to an Islamic school where they are made to study the Arabic language and memorize the entire Quran. Rising for prayers before dawn and studying until the late hours of the night, they are indoctrinated into the strict teachings of the Islamic faith. Those who refuse to cooperate are beaten and chained until they improve their studies.
They must give up playing. Playing is harmful. It doesn't allow them time to study. Anyone who misbehaves, he's whipped so that he doesn't play anymore. When his colleagues see him being...
Any black child misbehave, black boys, he's whipped. There you go. Assalamu alaikum.
He will stop playing and become afraid. The Quran is difficult. If they do not work hard, they will not be able to memorize it all.
A lot of the footage that we have received from these nations, some in Sudan, show young boys being beaten, show them chained, walking down these dusty paths around the school compound with chains. In one school, they have to write on a small board that they carry with them Quranic verses and then walk.
Okay, all right, okay. I can understand what the white man is saying right there. But I don't understand why you would go save Afghanis and Afghans who's being treated like subhumans and bring them over to the United States and only do a documentary on black kids who are being kidnapped by Arabs forced into slavery. So what are you telling us this for if you're not going to do anything?
Wash this board and drink the water. And their teachers tell them that drinking this water causes them or helps them to memorize this faster.
Young girls have also been kidnapped.
Young girls have always been kidnapped. You know what they do over there? Hey, folks, sometimes what y'all need to do sometimes, and I know it's a sad thing, a sad state. Go into the neighborhood and find out them sisters who be creeping behind the mosque in our community. One of the untold stories that have been happening, and then next thing you know, that's right, LaQuisha up the street got a light-skinned kid with curls.
Mit Gebeten hat man sie gelockt. Die Araber bringen bereits im 7. Jahrhundert den Islam nach Afrika und mit ihm die Sklaverei. Denn wer kein Moslem werden will, wird als Sklave in die muslimische Welt verschleppt. 17 Millionen Schwarzafrikaner trifft dieses Schicksal. Die Geschichte dieses Menschenhandels ist in Afrika bis heute ein Tabu. Tidiane Ndiaye bricht das Schweigen. Der senegalesische Anthropologe fordert, die Sklaverei der Moslems endlich aufzuarbeiten. In seinem Buch Der verschleierte Völkermord beschreibt Ndiaye dieses wenig erforschte Kapitel der Geschichte.
Der muslimische Sklavenhandel war der...
Exactly. My sentiments exactly. Someone said, who's filming this mess? How can you be filming this? But if there's a black militant group in Africa, all of a sudden the whole earth must stop and say that there's a guerrilla guy in Africa that the world must go in and extract.
Der längste in der Geschichte der Menschheit. Er währte 13 Jahrhunderte und hatte viel mehr Opfer als der Sklavenhandel nach Amerika, der 400 Jahre dauerte. Und das Traurigste daran ist, dass die meisten der Verschleppten unglücklicherweise keine Kinder bekommen konnten, weil sie kastriert wurden.
In die arabische Welt, in die Türkei, nach Persien und nach Indien werden die Schwarzafrikaner verfolgt.
Okay, we hit the time. It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. We're going to pick up right now, brothers and sisters. Right now, we're picking up at GOCC Media. It's 8 o'clock. Hit the link and we'll continue at GOCC Media. See you there. That's right. Hey, you're in for a nice show here. Be right back. See you on GOCC Media.